Hey everybody, Decent Eddie here. NFL Week 5 keeps going, and it's time to look at the Sunday and Monday Night Football matchups. First off, though, did you look at the Rams? Did the Rams just kind of forget how to play football for 3 quarters on Thursday? I mean, I don't know. My lands, guys. I mean, here's the Rams. We're looking at them thinking, hey, they might be good enough to, and then well, we all saw what happened, right? Anyway, it would be awesome if you gave a like, left a comment, subscribed, hit the bell. I'd love that if you did it. One more thing before heading into the games. Even though I've been doing this for 20-ish years, never take what I say or what anyone else says doing this on faith alone. And research your picks before putting your money on anything. At least read an injury report on the day of the game. All right, guys, be smart. All right, here we go. Let's get into the Week 5 games. Vikings versus Browns in London. This is a decent Eddie suboptimal pick for the Vikings, right on the border of confident with a 9.954 differential. The market has Minnesota as 3.5-point favorites with a 66% win probability here. The total is set at an incredibly low 35.5 points. I think this total kind of reflects the Browns starting rookie quarterback against a pretty good Vikings pass rush. Minnesota has also a massive travel advantage in this game. They've been across the pond for a week now. They probably stayed there. I would. However, they are kind of banged up a little bit on the offensive line, and that could be a gift to Myles Garrett on the Browns. The 3.5-point spread, I think, is fair, though Cleveland will have that time change to consider, right? I'm taking the Vikings at 3.5 against the spread. I like that better with the Vikings than I do on the plus side for the Browns. I think you can take Vikings on the money line too, even though it is a suboptimal pick. I'm taking the over 35.5. Yeah, I know you got two defenses that are pretty dominant and they're against mistake-prone offenses, but 35.5 is just too low of a total, I think. All right. Texans versus Ravens. This is the tricky one over in Baltimore. My data shows an 8.272 differential favoring the Ravens, but that was before Lamar Jackson's hamstring injury essentially flipped the market on this game. The Texans are 1.5-point favorites with a 57% win probability. Given the state of both teams, I recommend avoiding the money line. We've got a depleted Ravens defense, which has allowed 117 points and losses that might struggle against the Texans' ground game. The Texans' defense could feast on Cooper Rush, which I think we can all admit that it's a significant downgrade from Jackson. I'm taking the Texans at 1.5 against the spread. For the total of 40.5 points, I predict the under due to the diminished offensive capabilities for the Ravens. I think you avoid the money line here. Too many questions. I don't like question marks. Giants versus Saints. This is an uncomfortable suboptimal moneyline pick for the Giants with a 5.364 differential. The market is favoring the Saints at 55% to win outright. So the market and I don't agree. The market, they've got the Saints at 1.5 points against the spread here too. The Giants lost a key weapon and the Saints are desperate and 0-4. But the Saints are rolling with Spencer Rattler at quarterback and he's struggling. So this is kind of a mess. The Giants' defensive line is going to live in New Orleans' backfield, I think. So, I think you give me the Giants at 1.5 against the spread is what I think. The total is kind of high at 41.5 for these teams. Both offenses are completely inefficient. The Giants are going to run the ball a ton, and the Saints can't generate enough points to push the over, I think. So I'm calling the under 41.5. It is a low suboptimal number for my data, so I'm going to avoid this money line for me. Dolphins versus Panthers. This is a danger money line pick with a very small 1.091 differential favoring the Panthers. The market favors the Dolphins at 1.5 points against the spread. So another disagreement there with the market win probability for the Dolphins at 54%. The over-under is set at 44.5 points. The Dolphins are coming off a win, but Tyreek Hill is out for the season. Ouch. That's a massive blow, and the Dolphins' offense is going to have to be a little bit altered, I think. The Dolphins' defense is also a potential issue. The Panthers managed their only win at home. While Bryce Young has struggled, he has a much better matchup here against a Miami defense. The market expects a close game with a high total of 44.5 points. But given the massive loss of Hill from Miami and Carolina's low-scoring offense, this total kind of feels a little high. I'm taking the Panthers at 1.5 against the spread. I'm also calling the under 44.5. The money line here for me is a no play. Raiders versus Colts. This is a decent Eddie confident pick for the Colts with a 16.955 differential by my data. The confident picks are hitting at around 85% this year so far, just FYI. The market favors the Colts as 6.5-point favorites with a 76% chance to win by the books, and the over-under is set at 47.5 points. The Colts are 3-1, undefeated at home, while the Raiders are 1-3 and turnover-prone, with Geno Smith just being kind of a kind of like an interception Pez dispenser. 7 so far. Key to this game is going to be the run game. You got Colts running back. You got Jonathan Taylor. He's explosive. While the Raiders' run game has struggled so far, they can't seem to find an identity there. Indianapolis is a clear step above the Raiders. Against the spread, I'm taking the Colts at 6.5. The market spread, I think, is fair. I'm taking my money line pick, the confident money line pick for the Colts, right? The over-under, I think the total of 47.5 is kind of right on the fence. Considering my past over-under struggles, I'm actually avoiding the over-under in this game. Broncos versus Eagles. This is a decent Eddie confident pick for the Eagles with a 13.909 differential between these two teams favoring Eagles. The market favors Eagles as well as 4.5-point favorites with a 68% chance to win. The over-under is set at 43.5. The Eagles are 4-0, perfect at home, facing a Broncos team that's 2-2 and has lost both their road games this year. Denver's defense may be a challenge, though. You got Philadelphia's strong running game. They should be able to exploit Denver's vulnerabilities against the run. Also, consider Denver is coming east on a short week after playing a Monday night game, which potentially gives the Eagles a bit of a scheduling advantage. I'm taking the Eagles at 4.5 against the spread. The scheduling venue advantage, I think, tips the scale for me. I am taking my confident moneyline pick for the Eagles here as well. As for the total of 43.5 points, Broncos defense and the Eagles' surprisingly low offensive output, winning or not, they kind of point to a low-scoring game. So I like the under here, under 43.5. All right, Cowboys versus Jets. We've got a decent Eddie suboptimal pick right on the border with the confident pick, a differential of 9.636, right on that line. Between these teams on the money line favoring the Cowboys. For the market, the Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47.5 points. The market is giving the Cowboys a 57% chance to win this game straight up. The Jets are in despair, and looks like we may have a potential quarterback controversy, whether they want to admit it or not. Now, Dallas's defense isn't amazing, but they're good enough, and the offense is mostly competent, but the key is that the Jets defense has been just really bad, allowing 27 or more points in every game this season. For the money line, my number is right on the border of confidence, so I will side with the Cowboys on the money line. Honestly, I'm a little perplexed at the 2.5 points. I might wait to see if the market moves before kickoff. So I'm saying 2.5. The 2.5 is a no play for right now. Wait till we get closer to the game time. Just looking at the past 4 weeks data, I think you can take the over 47.5. Titans versus Cardinals. We've got a decent Eddie confident pick for the Cardinals with a 13.454 differential. The market has Arizona as 8.5-point favorites with an 82% win probability, and the over-under is 41.5 points. The Titans are a mess. They're 0-4. Cam Ward is taking a beating. The team has more turnovers than offensive touchdowns. I mean, come on. It's comedy. The Cardinals are at home after a mini-bye and have a great defense in this get-right game for Arizona. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Titans on this game, I think. I'm going to go with the Cardinals on the money line. It's a confident pick, and I'm 85% on those. I'm looking at the Cardinals 8.5 against the spread. The quality and situational gap is just, it's too big to ignore for me. The total is a low 41.5. While low totals can be sneaky overs, these teams combine for only 33 points per game. 33.3 if you want to be precise. So the Titans' inability to score is key here. For the 41.5 total, I think the value is on the under. I'll take it. All right. Bucks versus Seahawks, right? We've got a danger pick for the Seahawks with a slim 0.728 differential. But there is a but here, and we're going to get into it. The market has Seattle as 3-point favorites with a 64% win probability. The over-under is set at 44.5 points. This is a great matchup of 3-1 teams. I think this is my favorite game for the week. But the narrative seems clear. Seattle is at home with extra rest after a Thursday game, and their defense is on fire. The Buccaneers are kind of beat up. Baker Mayfield is playing well, but without Irving and Evans and other key players, it's hard to see them maintaining drives in a hostile environment against one of the league's best defenses, right? While my differential is pure danger on the money line, an argument could be made, given the extra rest for Seattle versus the injuries with Bucks. So it's a pick on the money line, I think, for Seattle, regardless of it being a dangerous differential by my data. I'm looking at the Seahawks 3 points against the spread. The injury and rest advantage for Seattle at home is kind of hard to ignore. The defense is top shelf. For the total 44.5, I think that's low, but both defenses are tough. Seattle has yet to allow over 20 points, and a low-scoring game seems likely. The under is, I think, the strong value here, guys. I'm on the under 44.5 points. Commanders versus Chargers. This is a decent Eddie suboptimal pick on the money line for the Chargers with an 8.723 differential between these two teams. The market has given the Chargers a 61% win probability. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under 47.5. This is a tricky one. Jaden Daniels is cleared to play for the Commanders, but he's without Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown, and that's a problem. Looking at the Chargers, the O-line is a little thin, losing left tackle Joe Alt. So the pressure could be on Herbert a little bit. I'm leaning towards the Chargers in this game at 2.5 points. The Washington's run game could chew some clock and keep this close, but they're away and still have injuries that are significant. The money line, my data says suboptimal. It goes to the Chargers. I'm 61% on games in that category. I'm leaning under 47.5. The Chargers defense is good, and injuries on both sides may mean a lower scoring game. Maybe, right? Lions versus Bengals. This is a decent Eddie confident pick on the money line for the Lions with a massive 20.909 differential. The market has Detroit as 10.5-point favorites with an 86% win probability. This one has blowout written all over it. The Bengals are on a short week. They're in the grips of sorrow without Joe Burrow. Jake Browning has 5 interceptions since replacing him, and their defense is gross. It is possible the Bengals might be the worst team in the league without Joe Burrow. It is possible. Lions are scoring 34.3 points per game. Jared Goff's jersey probably won't even get dirty here. The Lions have covered 5 of their last 6 as favorites. I'm going with the Lions on the money line. I'm taking the Lions at 10.5 against the spread. Yes, it's a double-digit spread, and that's always spooky. But, I mean, look, guys. I mean, seriously? Come on. The over-under is 48.5. The Lions average 34 points alone. I'm leaning 48.5 here. I'm guessing the Bengals can get a couple touchdowns. Probably can. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Patriots versus Bills. This is a decent Eddie confident pick on the money line for the Bills with a 19.819 differential. The Bills are heavy favorites, and the market gives them an 80% win probability. This is a tough spot for New England on Sunday night. I feel sad for them. While the Patriots demolished Carolina last week, their offense has struggled with turnovers. Drake May can't afford to give the ball away here. The Bills are 4-0, averaging 33.3 points a game. I'm going with the Bills on the money line. It's a confident pick all the way around. Now, for the spread, I'm actually on the Patriots at 8.5. The market line has fluctuated in this game, and the Patriots are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 meetings with Buffalo. Now, that's historical stuff. I don't put much credence in that, but 8.5 is kind of big here. Anyway, most importantly, the Bills' run defense is kind of in the basement. New England may be able to exploit that for a backdoor cover. That's what I'm thinking. The over-under is set at 49.5 points. Both teams have been trending over, with the Bills 3-1 this year. Given the Bills' high-powered offense, I'm leaning on the over 49.5. Chiefs versus Jaguars. This is a decent Eddie suboptimal pick for the Chiefs with a differential of 5.091. The market has given the Chiefs a 64% win probability. Chiefs are 3-point favorites, and the over-under is 46.5 points. The spread is a tough number here in this one, but the Chiefs just dismantled the Ravens, so I'm going to wait and see if the market moves this number. Right now, it's a no play on the spread for me. I'm seeing 3.5 in some places, so I think there's still some movement coming along. I think the Chiefs' defense bends but doesn't break, at least not yet. The over-under is set at 46.5 points. The Chiefs' offense looks on track, and they hit 37 last week. However, the Jaguars' defense is pretty stout, too. I think you can go with the under 46.5 in this game. And that's it, friends. Parlays, if you stick the Cardinals winning their game, the Bills winning their game, and Devontae Smith getting 20-plus yards receiving, your win probability is around 52%. Or if you put Carson Wentz getting 150 yards passing, Derrick Henry getting 60 yards rushing, and Tua passing for 175 yards, your win probability is also about 52%. I will always endorse a 3-leg parlay with odds between -400 and -450 because if you do that, your odds are going to stay at or above 51% to win. Regardless of what you choose, I never recommend more than a 3-leg parlay due to the risks of combined probabilities. And remember, don't spend more than 10% of your bankroll in total across all your wagers in a day. Never chase losses, and if you need help with the gambling problem, check out my channel's description. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Hey, if you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, tap the bell, get my picks on the day of the game, before kickoff, 2 days before kickoff, just whenever. Just subscribe, will you? Hey, follow me on Decent Eddie Picks on Instagram, Facebook, X, Decent Eddie Picks with PIX at the end. You can see me on TikTok. I'll sometimes post team grades there, last minute thoughts if I have them. But let's see what happens this weekend. Hey, this is Decent Eddie signing off. Have an awesome day.